Vacancy, after the High Court voided his election, he filed an appeal. What did this House do? It continued to recognize him as a sitting MP throughout the entire appeal process. The seat was only declared vacant after the Court of Appeal delivered its final judgment. In the case of Eric Amwating of Nkranza South, detained abroad on serious charges, this House resisted calls to declare his seat vacant while his legal status was unresolved. Vacancy occurred only upon his own properly executed resignation. In the case of Danagodapi of Keta, convicted and sentenced to 10 years imprisonment, this House did not treat the conviction as an automatic trigger. When circumstances allowed, when he was granted a presidential pardon, he returned to this chamber on 10th of June 2008 and was permitted to sit and perform duties as MP. His tenure ended with the dissolution of Parliament. In the case of Adamu Dramani Kpandai of Boko Central, the honorable member continued to serve in Parliament for years while the courts determined civil challenges to his eligibility. It was upon his final criminal conviction and subsequent imprisonment in July 2012 that he became legally incapacitated from performing his duty as a member of Parliament. Even as he pursued an appeal, he was granted a presidential pardon in December 2012. In any case, a by-election could not have been constitutionally justified since his incarceration occurred less than 6 months before the 2012 general election. Let me address the case of James Jachi Kwesi, which is often mentioned. A clear look at what actually happened shows why rushing on Kpandai is wrong. Here are the facts. Kwesi was sworn in and served as MP in January 2021. Even though a court case was already pending, Parliament allowed him to work just as we have done in other cases. In July 2021, a High Court nullified his election, but even then, Parliament did not immediately declare his seat vacant. The real change came from the Supreme Court. In April 2022, the Supreme Court issued a direct order, an injunction commanding Kwesi to stop acting as an MP. And in May 2023, the Supreme Court gave its final judgment, ordering Parliament to remove his name. The lesson is clear. Parliament's decisive action in the Kwesi case was not based on High Court ruling alone. It was based on specific final orders from the Supreme Court. Now compare this to Kpandai. Today, we have no order from the Supreme Court. We have no injunction. Instead, we have a High Court ruling that has been formally stayed and is under appeal. To use the Kwesi case to justify instant action in Kpandai turns the truth upside down. Kwesi's case teaches us to wait for the Supreme Court's final word. In Kpandai, we are ignoring that lesson and acting before the first appeal has even been heard. We cannot use a case that required court intervention to justify acting when the Supreme Court has not spoken at all. The pattern, therefore, Mr. Speaker, is undeniable. This House has always required one of three conditions: the exhaustion of appeals, a final specific order from the Apex Court, the member's own resignation. Article 99 1E of our Constitution is precise. A seat becomes vacant upon a determination by the appropriate judicial authority. Our history proves that a determination is not the first word of the High Court. The final authoritative word after the appellate. Our history proves that a determination is not the first word of the High Court, but the final authoritative word after the appellate process is complete. Our legal system is built on this foundation. The right to appeal is a fundamental pillar of justice. Yet this House is being urged to treat a suspended, appealed, and contested High Court order as the final, irrevocable command. This violates the Constitution and repudiates our legacy of institutional restraint. Let us be unequivocally clear. By acting now, we are not following precedent. We are shattering it. We are declaring that for the people of Kpandai and for Honorable Martin, the historical respect for the process and appellate right is null and void. We are telling the 363,734 citizens whose clear will is not in mathematical that their vote is expendable. We are telling Honorable Yendam that his constitutional right to appeal, a right exercised by Nyamekan, Satunde, and Kwesi, is meaningless. We are telling the Court of Appeal its pending task is irrelevant. This is not upholding the law. It is a selective, cynical, and historical illiterate application of it. If we proceed, we do not wrong Kpandai today. We establish a toxic new rule for tomorrow, that a parliamentary majority can weaponize a first instance court order to instantly unseat a political opponent, rendering the appellate courts and our own historical practice obsolete. Therefore, the duty of the House is clear. We must, one, acknowledge that a stayed and appealed judgment cannot be considered a final determination, as our history with Dan Abodapi and others confirms. Number two, we defer any action until the appellate process is conclusively complete, respecting the precedent set across decades. And number three, we need to recognize that this premature notification violates the separation of powers, disrespects the judiciary, unjustly disenfranchises the people of Kpandai, and betrays Parliament's own tradition of constitutional caution. And finally, number four, need to withdraw the notice of the Electoral Commission to the Electoral Commission immediately. This is not a partisan plea. It is a call for basic constitutional fidelity and historical consistency. In conclusion, I stand here for the rule of law and for the sanctity of our parliamentary traditions. The notification on Kpandai is historical aberration. It is a violation of the separation of powers. It is a usurpation of appellate jurisdiction. A disenfranchisement of Kpandai voters. A denial of Honorable Matthew Yindam's rights. And a gross departure from our own settled practices. Accordingly, I submit that this House is constitutionally, legally, democratically, and procedurally bound to withdraw the premature notice issued to the Electoral Commission. Let history record that this Parliament chose the wisdom of its past precedents of Nyamakan, Abu Dhabi, and Martin over the rashness of partisan expediency. Respect the stay, await the appeals, honor our history, uphold the Constitution. The people of Kpandai are watching. Ghana is watching. History is watching. Two quick questions. First, are we going to see the minority continue in the stance that government business will suffer if this letter is not withdrawn? And secondly, the chief whip of the majority side say that they are going to refer all of you to the Privileges Committee for the Conduct of I think we have been very clear with our demands. I don't think that this one, the statement is very clear in all our demands. The Privileges Committee. I don't know how he could be. Yes.
Well done. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, that was the Deputy Minority Leader, Madam Patricia Appiagyei, addressing the media regarding the Kpandai seat vacancy. What she sought to do was bring the historical antecedent to the matter and, of course, suggest that the House is bound constitutionally and democratically, if you like, to hasten with the notice to the Electoral Commission announcing the occurrence of a vacancy in Parliament. She spoke of Adamusa Kande. She spoke of other cases that we've seen in the past and how same was handled between the Supreme Court, that's the judiciary, and Parliament, the legislature. And she says that the current handling of the Kpandai seat is a departure from history. It's a departure from the precedent set, and if it is allowed to continue, will set a bad example according to her. This has been our coverage of that press conference from Parliament by the minority on the Kpandai seat vacancy. Stay with us here on Channel 1 Television as we bring you updates in our subsequent programming. I am Nanatu Boateng. Many thanks for your time. Keep watching Channel 1 TV.
University presents the 10th anniversary Public Dialogue themed Upholding Our Heritage One for Us, Red, Gold, Green. The panelists are Kenneth Ashibe, CEO, Chamber of Mine; Her Ladyship, Justice Sophia Kufu, former Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana; Ambassador Isaac Osei, Ghana's former High Commissioner to UK and Ambassador to Ireland. The moderator is Bernard Kuku Adler. The venue is the Writing Auditorium of the Heritage Christian University behind the Olympic Stadium, Amasama. The date is the 10th of December 2020.